Hi everyone, I'm Hariraj, CEO at NWORX. We are building the largest SaaS platform for professional development embedded into the flow of everyday work. In the last episode, we spoke about the embedded professional development. How do we bring development so close to what I call as the theater of performance that there is no real distinction between professional development and workplace performance? This is where we coined the term embedded professional development. What we are really talking about is development, professional development or leadership development that's fully embedded into the theater of performance or into the flow of everyday work of any professional out there. Now, going back to what we spoke in the last episode, we spoke of three critical elements of how to make embedded development or embedded professional development to be extremely effective. First of them was about goal setting, really getting the goal setting right and creating plans or enabling leaders and professionals to create plan that makes sense to them and to their organization. Second is all about how to embed and orchestrate a very well designed development journey into the workplace performance. Third is about the micro habit of helping individual professionals prepare, perform, and reflect on their critical activities, on their critical steps at work, almost as a ritual, as a habit. So these are the three critical elements that we spoke of last time. Now let's speak of the complexities of embedded professional development and how technology and different aspects of technology can solve these complexities. Now, why do I think embedded professional development is complex? I think everyone believes or everyone reasonably believes that if you are able to do learning and development very much intertwined along with work, it can be effective. Yet, we don't see too many solutions that operate in that space. In fact, I was speaking to a colleague of mine who used to be one of the very early practitioners in the learning and development space, who used to work in the e-learning space as it emerged several years back. He was telling me how at a certain point in time where e-learning was already coming out, how speaking about application of what people learn and offering performance support actively was considered the next big thing. And he said, look, somehow that didn't take off. And we spoke about how we didn't have the technology at that point in time to really bring performance support into the digital domain and really solve problems associated with it. So we'll start with the complexity of implementing each element in professional development that's embedded into the flow of everyday work. First of them is really about the goal setting. When it comes to goal setting, the typical complexity involved is always about motivation. Individuals, any professionals, if they are essentially asked to focus on or develop on areas that don't mean much to them as a person, the motivation level tends to be lower. So you got to figure out how the motivation is appropriately managed or how the right goals are being used and the right framing is available for those goals for the motivation to hold up. So there are multiple approaches to helping professionals identify with and define goals that they want to focus on and that they are motivated on. What technology is able to and can do is help simplify all of this for the leader or the professional through very intelligent recommendations so that he or she is really focused on goals that matter to themselves. Now, this requires the technology to understand what are the aspects that the organization wants, what are the aspects that the individual really is motivated to move forward with, and what are the real aspects or the goals, areas that his or her job requires the person to actually achieve, to kind of accomplish in the next, let's say, next 6 months to a year. Figuring out how to bring all of this together It's a reasonably complex exercise, and making it all look very simple to the end user, to the professional who's actually trying to set goal, is easier said than done. And again, this is an area which technology is able to do, to bring in these three type of inputs: the input of what the organizational mandate is, what the individual's aspiration is, and what the job's requirement is. Bringing all the three together is something technology is able to do today. So that's the first one, about goal setting and the complexity of motivation. Second one is about the generation of leadership or the professional development journey itself. Now, we know that instructionally effective development journey requires a level of understanding of design, instructional design. It requires a level of understanding the psychology of individuals. There's multiple fields that come into play, and that complexity percolates down to the fact that each individual's journey tends to be somewhat unique. Figuring out how to actually crack this is again the space of today. Artificial intelligence is at a place wherein it can actually figure out these aspects of the business context, what the individual is looking to do, the specific job requirement, and generate instructionally well designed journeys in an automated fashion. Now that's the second one. So almost automatic generation of professional development or a leadership development journey is possible today with AI enabled software. Third is the orchestration of leadership or professional development journey. When it comes to what I mean as orchestration, is really, one is to kind of set up a leadership development journey for people, but second is to figure out how to make it engaging enough, because there is always this complexity of decaying attention in the world today. So it's very hard to really get the attention of a leader or an individual for over a period of few weeks, several weeks and several months, which is really what a typical development journey would be about. Now that is again another piece, thanks to a lot of the brilliant designs in consumer applications, consumer apps today. Today, technology has a way to, it has multiple ways to engage individuals in various activities of development and performance through software that's very easily accessible. That's accessible to them on mobile, that's accessible to them on any other devices, computing devices. So that again, this complexity of decaying attention can be overcome using technology, and we have seen more and more examples of that with a lot of the consumer apps that we all use day in and day out. The fourth one is about people on a journey, they are engaged. How do you help them practice their skills that are required? They need to develop skills, they need to practice skills. Now when it comes to learning concepts, that's a problem that we all know that has been already solved. We know that content can be digitized in various means and made available to people in highly engaging manner. So that's the problem that's already solved. But what I'm speaking about is, how do we get people to practice their skills more and more often? And that's really again an area wherein highly instructionally effective methods can be digitized today, and it can be made highly engaging, and it can be bite-sized, delivered just in time. So when a person is working on, let's say, a negotiation conversation, in preparing for that, they could work on polishing their negotiation skills. Now that is a very different way of approaching it, and getting them to work on specific exercises that helps them fine-tune or polish that negotiation skills is something that can be easily digitized with technology today. So that's really about practicing the skill and conquering the complexity of just-in-time delivery and repetition. The next one is about how do you get people to apply what they learn. This is again a difficult one because of the complexity of what I call contextual complexity. Really, every context, every situation is slightly unique. It is unique. and therefore how people should be applying things need to be slightly unique. And we have got to figure how technology can actually make that kind of an application very accessible to users. And that's also again doable. Today, with the AI algorithms, software technology has the ability to figure out what's that specific situation a particular individual is walking into and help them figure out how to prepare themselves to apply what they learned in that situation. The next item is that of performance support. How do we make sure, as people are going through this journey, how do we make sure that they have the right level of performance support? That could be support available from executive coaches, that could be support available from mentors, that could be support available from experts. Again, here the complexity is that of contextually aware communication. How do we make sure that contextually aware communication can be enabled in a journey, in a development journey? Again, technology is able to crack this pretty easily because contextually aware communication is a problem that has been solved in the other domains, even though it has not been something that's addressed in the leadership development or professional development domains. So that's again another area that technology can be used to solve for. Last one, that among the 7 items that I'm speaking about, is really that of habit building. Complexity of building habits while you are in the chaos of everyday work. That's again another piece to look at. Thankfully, habit building has been a space that has gotten a lot of attention in the last few years, and technology has kind of progressed to a certain level wherein using nudges, using highly engaging interactive design, software technology is able to help people build habits. Therefore, this is yet another area that technology has been able to crack and really solve for. Now, as I'm speaking about all this, to you it may sound very fanciful that technology can conquer all these complexities. But I'm going to say it truly can. And this is something which we have been busy at NWORX with, trying to use technology to solve some of these problems. Using technology, we have been able to solve this, and we have been able to deliver value to our clients through the technology platform. So I'm not just thinking that it can be done, we know that it can be done. So again, I think just to recap the stuff that we spoke about the goal setting and the complexity of motivation. We spoke about the generation of leadership or professional development journey and the complexity of unique journeys. We spoke about the orchestration of leadership or professional development journey and the complexity of attention. We spoke about the skill practice aspect of it and the complexity of just-in-time delivery and repetition. We spoke about the application of what people learn and the complexity of contextual intelligence. We spoke of performance support and the complexity of contextually aware communication. And last, we spoke about habit building and the complexity of building habits in the chaos of work. So now, this is stuff that I want to leave with you to think about. Feel free to write to me about how technology is solving it. Where have you seen technology solving some of these problems? In my next and final episode on this thread of embedded professional development, I'll speak of the final frontier. What do I mean by that? Now, the era of content and classrooms are over, and one-on-one group coaching, this is kind of going through a transient phase by itself. We will see more and more of learning professional development happening through this approach of embedded professional development, led by service providers and creators and experts from various professional disciplines. It's only a matter of time. But is it? Can this technology be made accessible to everyone who wants to revolutionize leadership and professional development right away? I'll speak to that in my next session. So stay tuned. I'm Hariraj. See you at NWORX, speaking to you about future of leadership and professional development. Thank you.